Good morning, my dear student. In this video, just I am going to simple way how we can find effect of tariff. It's chapter number 13. Sorry, chapter number 9. Tariff effect. So it is a part of international trade in your chapter in your syllabus. Suppose that you have given the linear demand function and given the supply function also linear, and if government impose any types of tax, so what is the impact of tax? So how many times decrease consumer surplus, either producer surplus increase or decrease, and government how much government earn revenue, and what is tax rebate loss, either loss of the consumer surplus and the reduce the producer surplus is equal to called rebate loss. So it is not a big task, you can find easily if you have simple knowledge like calculation method. So just I am going to brief knowledge about how you can find the within 2 minutes effect of a tariff. So let's suppose that you have given 150 minus 5px and given supply function. So you need draw what? Demand function and supply function. According to demand and supply functions, we can find. Suppose that we have x-axis is the quantity, okay, and here the price and quantity, okay. Maximum 150, okay, maximum 150 put, and if you find the maximum price 5 into 5 को डिवाइड करेंगे 150 से, then maximum 30 is equal to 30 maximum price, okay. So if your maximum price is 30 and then we have draw demand function, okay. Supply function is start from origin. Why? Because if you put 10 is equal to 0, then finally we can find 0. So your supply function start from here, supply function, it is called demand function, okay. Find the price and equilibrium. Price is equilibrium. So 150 minus 5px is equal to 10px, we can write x, sorry. So is equal to 10p is equal to 15p, then 150 is equal to 15p, then p is equal to 150 upon 15 is equal to 10. So what is the maximum price is 10. You have got maximum equilibrium price, okay. And equilibrium quantity also you can find if you put 10 in quantity is p. So 150 minus 5 into 10, it means 50, 150 minus, and it means 100. So you have quantity 100, okay. So supply and demand are also 100 quantity. Find the consumer surplus. How we can find the consumer surplus? It is very easy. Consumer surplus is equal to 1 upon 2 into height, yani ki base. What is the base is equal to 100 quantity into height is equal to 30 and 10 is different, okay. It means 20, it means 2000, okay. 1 upon 2 yani ki 1000. So here is called consumer surplus is 1000, okay. Producer surplus, there is 0 and 10, it means 10. 1 upon 10, 2 into 10 into 10 into 100, sorry, you can 100 into 10, it means 1000, it means 5000, it means producer surplus is 5000. Is clear? So consumer surplus, producer surplus, you can find 1500, okay. If it is without trade, if suppose the trade start it means suppose that 8 rupees, there is some example, there is 8 rupees. So 8 rupees with, then demand is, it is demand, domestic demand, it is domestic supply. So demand is how many quantity you can find. Okay, demand, if you put 10, if you put 150 into minus 5 into 8 rupees, it means 110. 5 8 the 40, 40 minus 110, it means there 110. Okay, demand, and supply is equal to 80. If you put 10p, then this is equal to 80. So these are difference, 80 and 130 difference. It is domestic import. How many time import is 80 100 with import. Okay, so government want control the impact, import control करना चाहती है गवर्नमेंट. इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट इम्पोज एनी साइज ऑफ टैक्स. इफ गवर्नमेंट इम्पोज टैक्स 1 rupees, okay, tax impose 1 rupees, then price increase 1 rupees, okay, then it is a 9. Okay, but you can find also again consumer surplus. Starting consumer surplus is that. Okay, now consumer surplus is when 8 rupees, the consumer surplus is that. Okay, okay, but if government impose tax 8 to 9 1 rupees, so it means gap is 1 rupees, then you can find consumer surplus decrease, consumer surplus decrease. So without trade consumer surplus is that area. ठीक, with trade, okay, this area, suppose we can write E, now write H T, E H T, B trade, E P मतलब D, sorry, D D E C कर सकते हैं दिस एरिया, और इसको AN बढ़ा देते हैं हम. It means the consumer surplus, it is the before trade, after trade, after tax, after government imposed tax, the consumer surplus, this consumer surplus reduce. Okay, producer surplus, before trade consumer surplus is this area. Okay, but with trade consumer surplus this area. Okay, so after tax or before tax consumer surplus is this area. So it means if government impose tax, consumer surplus increase, because import decrease, the domestic supply increase. Okay, but producer consumer surplus decrease. So you can find also numerical value. Okay, okay, so 110 if impose, okay, suppose that government imposed tax 9 rupees, okay, 1 rupees, then price is 9 rupees, the find consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is equal to 1.2 into, if 9 rupees, you need find to this point. Okay, so okay, let's just start first. How can you find 150 minus 5 into 9 is equal to 45. 150, it means 105. How many quantity? 105 is quantity 105. Okay, and supply is put 9 यानी कि 90. Okay, so different is 90 and 105 is equal to, clear? Okay, 105. So 105, it is the quantity demand, then domestic supply is equal to 10p into 10 into 9, it means 90 quantity. Okay, so import, how many quantity import? 105 minus 90, it is your import areas. Okay, ठीक है, how many quantity? 5 quantity and 10 quantity, यानी कि 15 quantity import. Okay, so government import at this time 15 quantity. Okay, how many quantity tax? 1 rupees. So it means government run a revenue 15 rupees. So government revenue is equal to, how many time government revenue run 15 quantity into 1 rupees, it means 15 quantity. It is a government revenue areas, it is government revenue 15 quantity. ओके, कंज्यूमर सरप्लस लॉस कितना हो रहा है आफ्टर टैक्स कंज्यूमर सरप्लस, प्लीज नोट डाउन, आफ्टर टैक्स कंज्यूमर सरप्लस, आफ्टर टैक्स कंज्यूमर सरप्लस हाउ मेनी क्वांटिटी 105 एंड 5, मतलब इट मीन्स 5 क्वांटिटी कंज्यूमर सरप्लस लॉस हो रहा है. तो 1/2 बिकॉज दिस एरियाज 1/2 इंटू 5 इंटू 1 rupees, it means 2.5 rupees consumer surplus loss, and producer surplus loss is how many quantity 10 quantity, 10 into 1 into 1/2, it means 5 quantity. So it is a consumer surplus loss, it is a producer surplus loss. So deadweight loss is equal to consumer surplus per producer surplus. So it means 7.5. How many quantity deadweight loss? 7.5. So friend, my dear student, if you have a given demand function and supply function, first you need to draw demand and supply function. After that you need to find first consumer surplus and producer surplus, then find the bid trade consumer surplus and producer surplus after imposed tax government. Okay, then find quantity demand and quantity supply and find the difference gap. Then you can find government revenue, because this quantity and difference of the prices you can multiply, then you can find the revenue, government revenue. And again you can find how many quantity decrease consumer surplus, how many quantity decrease producer surplus. Okay, clear? So these are called impact of tariff. Why impact of tariff? How many type impact? There are 8 type impact. Why? First, domestic demand decrease, import decrease, domestic supply increase. Okay, employment it means increase, resources utilization of increase it means. Okay, so our BOP, balance of payment, यानी कि net export is getting. Okay. Third, price increase, so price effect, revenue effect, import effect, domestic supply effect, domestic demand effect, deadweight loss effect, consumer surplus, these are called effect. So I hope कि all about clear at all topics. Thank you. Note down please.